Hagwanan or fun and tough? Hi, we're indoors for a change. I just had an idea. I wanted to talk about for social media and the idea of the video diaries and as a film of your own life. If you think of it that way, what you're building up, and let's see if this looks like an attractive proposition, particularly if you're young people finding your way in the world and your feet around the social media etiquette, and which is destroying you. That the phones are using you. You're not using the phones. And that's what I want to try to swap around so that you're in control. So imagine you've got your phone. You've had your sexual consent training as a young child, and that you're about to begin your critical thinking skills. So you've had your socialization and your consensual sex training, so you know that nobody can abuse you and what abuse looks and feels like in a very gentle way, and you're ready to go. And you've been presented with your phone in a wonderful ceremony as a young person. And you're shown how to use it. And the idea is you're going to create your personal CV as a film of your own life. And that every time you're creating a little video clip for yourself, a little clickbait, your own sort of morality tales, don't try for morality, you're just telling your story at this stage. The morality tales could be generated from your story by AI looking right through them and saying, pulling the threads and themes out from your entire life, your values. They'll shine through without you having to be explicit about them. So you're off you go, and you're doing whatever you want to do, you like doing, and you're just doing short pieces. Remember, they're clickbait. You want people to look at what you're saying because you've tried hard to make it look attractive. You want it to be interesting because it's your life. But if nobody looks, you don't care. Okay, this is the real difference. You're recording it for your own benefit. So that imagine in 20 years, you can look back and watch your personal CV if you want it from end to end as an entertainment for yourself, and watch yourself grow up from 5 years old. It will be a thing of beauty for each individual person, crafted in moment to moment and can carry with you into the future. And so that's what social media is for, to build your film. However, you're your own hero in your own film, recording your own thoughts, ideas, and what you're interested in. And there might be other people as they're banging it out, but try and make it about you only. I would stick to the talking head idea or whatever's around you, but keep other people out of it because it's yours. Yeah, and what seems important in that moment, or my boyfriend or something like this person that's so important, must be in it. You might find in the future that confuses anyone looking at it. You're getting other people's morality into yours. So I think we should make a rule, if you like, or an etiquette that says it's just you, it's your story. And now imagine that you've compiled this for 10 years, you're 15, 16 years old, and what's happened is that there's a point of publication, and it's another ceremony that you can have as young teenagers, marking your step towards publishing your young diary, ready for the next diary. And it will come at a individually chosen date, depending on each individual, and there's no judgment on this, there's no early to no late, it's just the right time. Because it means you're kind of ready to step into the dating and friending part of the social media. And that friending must be about quality. You only want a handful of friends. Okay? A handful of friends is all you can manage. If you're a real queen bee type person who loves that drama around you and can manage a large circle of friends and have as many as you want, but don't have bystanders in your life. Don't have people watching your life from a distance who you don't know. Okay? A friend request is a request that you can refuse if you don't want to, without any impoliteness. You say, no, thank you. I'd rather keep my life private from that person because I don't know you well enough. They could then come up, well, I'll try, if they liked you, they might want to get to know you, you might change your mind. And think about this as a 16-year-old. You've met someone. You can see someone across the disco floor. Yeah, I do have discos, but you see someone across a party floor, and you go, oh, they're nice, right? Well, you can take a photo of them. You know, if I take a photo of you, look really handsome. Yeah, photo. You then got their image. You could then go into their story and look at their entire story if you wanted to, because they're not hiding anything. It's available to anyone who wants to look at it. You might be the clickbait and you go, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. He's really matching up with me and my values. Yeah? And then if you went to talk to him, it's not from scratch. You know each other. Yeah? If he liked you, you liked him, you've both looked at each other's stories, you know everything about each other up to that point. You need to explain nothing apart from what the attraction is and where you're going together for a day or forever. It'd be really lovely, wouldn't it? That confidence to know that if someone has sent you a friend request, it means they have looked at your backstory and they like you. And that's a good place to start from. Now, when these things are published, anyone can look at them. So the thing about that we must get right with the excellence in terms of all people's behaviour is this idea of young people and old people. That it's essential in a society that old people and young people are allowed and encouraged to bond and spend time alone together, because it's about the energy cycle, nesting and laying the eggs of information in the next generation. So it's essential for a settled society that we have the old and the young in a total trusting relationship. And so imagine this would happen. So someone is just telling their story and they're looking in the big storyboard and you're seeing a big fractal of loveliness of just pictures and patterns all intermingled and linked together, the big picture. And you just look in, oh, that's an interesting picture. What's that? And a little headline, what's that? Click on it. And you find it's a 5-year-old child talking about what they like in their life at 5 years old. And if there's something in it, if you might go, well, that's just a 5-year-old, I'm not interested in that, you'd click away. If you were interested in the child and what they said, and this is why it's so key, not interested in them in any kind of abusive or coercive and controlling or sexual way at all. It's just you think there's some values in that child that I like. Imagine, right, that you don't know how old she is when you find this clickbait. You just know there's a story ahead and you can track that story. And you might find they're 12 years old and you're 50 and you go, no, there was nothing in the story, I'll just back away. You might find that there's some real value alignment there and you friend requests, and the friend request would mean like that, an elder figure. I'm looking to be a father, I'm looking for a daughter or a son person to lay my net, to make my nest in, and that the young people going, I must have some information from, and I'm not getting exactly what I need. I need another older person. Would fit in beautifully into my model. A grandfather has died, and therefore another one in that position would be brilliant. I need that support. You could reach for that chap and accept his friend request and then talk to each other and see if it was an appropriate thing you wanted. And appropriate not in any kind of underhand way. Appropriate, and do you want it or not? If you don't, then don't. And so excellence of behaviour means that rejection is just, they said no, it's not a personal thing, they just weren't. They didn't see the values that you saw, they didn't see the connection. It's fine. Yeah? You've learned a great deal, you've seen some brilliant stories, and you know someone that you didn't know before, and they know that you know them. And that's enough. Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, there's an idea about social media and using it as a tool to tell your life. So you're doing lots of things here. One, you're controlling the tool, it's not controlling you. You're controlling how many friends you get. You're not interested in numbers. You're not interested in bystanders. In fact, you reject bystanders. You want quality, people who know you and trust. And if you fell out with someone and they didn't trust you, just unfriend them. It's gone. Yeah, but it's based on a real relationship that you ended online, not the other way around. The online stuff will never go wrong. If it does, it's the same thing. You're having a personal relationship with them online. Yeah? So it's a different thing than this current Facebook thing, which is just so ephemeral. There's nothing in it. Numbers and validation, okay? So that's that fix. And then you've got this idea about dating, where you can overcome a lot of the problems of dating that we currently got because everyone knows who you are. Total honesty. You can't lie about your past or anything. You've done it, it's there. When you set the thing in stone, on the day you made it, it's set in stone, there it is. You can't delete it. I think that'd be right. You can't delete it. Because why would you? Because someone else might link to that. Once it's there, like Twitter, once it's there, it's there. And if you changed it or deleted it, it would change the entire sense of everything that's connected to it. You can't do it. Once it's anchored, it's anchored. Cemented, cemented. So you've cemented your own foundation. It should make dating a lot more fun, more easier, more safe. And that you could then join your stories. If you were united with someone and you felt, yes, we're united, you could then tell your stories. Two people could be done. No problem at all. Once you've achieved the age of consent. Because in the new world, we must have control of sexual consent. The age is too low. Because that sexual activity is going on very young, and because that activity is non-consensual, pornographic and masturbatory in many elements because you've not had the training, what that does is it forces the species to start having females who can reproduce earlier, so that this sexual activity and awfulness that's going on, and uncomfortable awfulness going on up here, is forcing girls as young as 9 years old to start their period, and it's too young. I don't accept it. They're not ready, especially even with all the training. I would be worried about it. Now, with nothing, you're just a young girl thrown into just to sort out your own bleeding issues and go and buy your own tampons. So, yeah, for goodness sake, that's your country you live in, right? So let's not do that. So by moving the sexual consent bar higher, that should help that practice. And I would like to discuss it being at 25 as the age in which you can have sex whenever you feel like it. If you want to have sex lower than that and you're a couple, then you just go and seek some counselling and training to make sure you really, really understand this consensual sex and that what you're doing, and so that there's no sense of coercion at all. So the adults can be certain who are looking, who are in a position of trust. The sheriff, for example, of each department, with each shire would be good, because they would represent the Prince of Wales's morality. So that it's not, no, even at 16, two 16-year-olds who were in love, if they could convince the sheriff, who acted on my behalf, that they were really in love and were going to stay together, and they would be able to be married. And I would think they would be a celebrated couple in the village or wherever they live, because that's rare, that kind of love. But it's only been allowed to happen because it is for life. Yeah, these couples who've bonded so young and stayed together all their lives. So that's allowed. Divorce would be very difficult if in a circumstances where that had been allowed. And I think that if we went through all the right steps, there would be no question of divorce. Why would you? You're ready to develop together. Even if you move apart, you come back together, you stay as a united consensual sex couple, because that's where the consciousness action is really at its most powerful. And you're really helping the planet in terms of its energy by engaging in these activities. Okay, so there's quite a lot there. And I'm sorry, I was going to do a short one. I never do short ones. But just have a think about this stuff. Nothing is set in stone, but we must get hold of the issues that I've talked about in all my videos. We can no longer in a society allow them to dangle. And I think this one about social media is a great one for young people to say, we want this. We demand rules. We demand boundaries. We demand of you adults, you set sensible boundaries, and we know where they are and what they do and why they're there. And you must demand that, because if you don't, it's like you've got parents who don't love you. If a parent will not set you a boundary firmly, with love, then they're no parent at all. And that's your government. That's not my government. My government would love you and would set up a country in which we would then play the game. Love Island, all over. Imagine these stories being used. We get some of the good ones. People who want to go on telly and want to push that route, do it all openly and publicly. It'd be such fun. It would roll on forever, never end, because new characters would enter. Couples would meet, fall in love, and go. New ones would enter. Constantly rolling program of what stuff that's happening around the festivals, around the monthly festivals that we can do every month in Wales. Festivals, music, game, fun. Universal basic income, education free, no police, no army, no weapons, peace, freedom, love, happiness. It can be done. Choose it. Remember, you are the soldiers of silence. Speak volumes. Love rules. Do the work. Choose.